Earlier tonight, the president tweeted, quote, the Dems were trying to distance themselves from the four progressives, but now they're forced to embrace them, and that means they are endorsing socialism, hate of Israel, and the USA. Not good for Democrats. Also breaking tonight, White House counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, defied a congressional subpoena with full support of the White House. Let me read from Pat Cipollone, the White House counsel, that he sent to Congressman Elijah Cummings. In accordance with long-standing bipartisan precedent, Ms. Conway cannot be compelled to testify before Congress with respect to matters related to her service as a senior advisor to the president. The Department of Justice has advised me that Ms. Conway's absolutely immune from compelled congressional testimony with respect to matters related to her service as a senior advisor to the president, which, by the way, is exactly right. Kellyanne Conway joins us now. I don't think you look too worried. That's what I've known you for many years. You've been on the show many years. You don't look particularly concerned.
I'm concerned that there's such a politicization and weaponization of this thing called the Hatch Act. If you go back and look at some of the things that are in the original report, they're just ripped from the headlines. They're not my opinion. So here's an example that they put in their report originally, that I said that the Democratic frontrunners are two old white male career politicians. So at the time, it was Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders ahead in the polls. I'm just reading the newspaper here, Sean, ahead in the polls. Now, fact check, they're white, they're old, they're male, and they're career politicians.
I'm going to tell you what you're guilty of. You like the president. If you like the president, this is the treatment anybody gets.
Well, I'm also effective. I'm also effective in explaining his policies to America, and everybody knows that.
That's a good point.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much for the flattery that somehow a TV appearance by me in spring of 2019 can swing an election in 2020. But they're just mad that well, they know that I helped the president who got elected all by himself. But I'm still here talking about his policies. They would have liked me to have been, I think, hauled in front of the Office of Special Counsel, Mr. Mueller, but they couldn't do that because I ran a campaign that didn't speak to Russians. I didn't talk to anybody in Moscow. I talked to people in Michigan and Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. But this is a serious matter in that I would like to testify. I have nothing to hide. I've done nothing wrong. But there is a longstanding bipartisan precedent, and it applies to administrations of both parties. And what would really happen if the Hatch Act were applied retroactively to other people's members of their administration? Have you seen some of the things they've said and done that never got this kind of treatment? I would also just tell your viewers to look at the letter sent by White House counsel Pat Cipollone dated June 11th, his original response. It is brilliant. And everybody should pull up that letter because in it he says, and this has never been contested by the guy who went under oath, probably thought it was a good idea to testify, it'd be fun, but saw how difficult it actually is, especially when you're not telling the truth the entire time. More about that some other time. But what Pat Cipollone said was that this special counsel, the Office of Special Counsel, which has a $25 million+ budget and is supposed to be an independent agency, that he felt pressure from members of the press, that he is capitulating to people on Capitol Hill who want them to, quote, do something about Kellyanne. They're not going to silence me. They're not going to take away my First Amendment rights. I'm immune from testifying.
What do you make of the president's tweet? The Dems are trying to distance themselves from the real leaders of the Democratic Party and forced to embrace them. And, you know, look at Omar's comments about Israel and the U.S. and endorsing socialism and the Green New Deal, et cetera.
All about the Benjamins, yes, laughing about Al-Qaeda and lying today in the press conference. I mean, I'm always amazed when the fact checkers just go gaga and genuflect when any one of the squad who, apart from getting a lot of media attention, haven't done squat. They don't fact check these people. But look, the president's right. All last week, Pelosi, Greg Meeks, the Congressional Black Caucus were all raining down on these women for attacking them. They're the only 4 Democrats to vote against any humanitarian aid crisis on the border. They have no moral authority to talk about the border anymore. They voted against $4.6 billion in aid.
Pelosi, speaker in name only. Kellyanne, good to see you. Thank you for being with us.